Good evening, guys. Welcome back to the Firearms and Fellowship podcast. I am happy to be joined by my good friend George McAllister. George, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing just fine, Jeremy. Good to see you this evening.
It's good to see you. So we both just kind of got back from road trips. You went north, I went south. Um, Tell me a little bit about your venture.
We made a partner of mine and I made a flying trip. We're down here in Louisiana, and we left here Friday, drove to Northwest Illinois, spent the night Friday night. Went had a wonderful visit with an old time Remington collector who either has or has had anything that ever had Remington written on it. We spent the day with him, visiting a wonderful visit with a great guy, and we talked Remington and collectibles all day long, and picked up a little bit of stuff. That,
Yeah.
and then went back, spent the night, and hit the road about 3:30 the next morning, Sunday morning, and we're back here for about 5:30 Sunday afternoon. So it was a flying trip, but that's what collecting will do. It'll put you on the road chasing stuff, and that's wonderful. It's fun, and it was a great visit with him. He's uh, he's quite a guy. He's quite a guy. And we really enjoyed ourselves.
So
How about
what
you?
what kind of Remington stuff did he have? When you say he has a whole bunch, for people that don't know the breadth of what Remington made over the years.
He has, I don't know how many. He has a lot of original Remington pocket knives. That's bullet knives and things of that nature. Calendars, clocks, posters, mirrors, uh, guns, of course, and of all varieties. New stuff, old stuff, pins that they used to give out at shooting competitions, and watch fobs, and just you just name. He just kept open a drawer and just keep dragging stuff out. Have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen that? No, no, no. I tell you what was really nice, and I'm really appreciative of him to him for it. Is he's real fond of my wife. They get along real good, and he knows how much Myra supports my collecting and all that, and he likes that, and she does. I'm very fortunate. And he reached in a drawer and he handed me something, and he says, "Here, Myra needs to have this." And I looked at it. It was a gold ring. It was a ring that Remington gave to employees on their 21st or 25th anniversary, employment anniversary,
Oh
and it
wow!
was a ladies' ring. And I don't know where he got it, but it's pretty nice. And so I brought that home, and gave it to her, and it fit. It fit her just great. It just a little memento. But he had been holding that, and
Yeah,
for next time he saw me, to send it to her. So I was pretty touched, and she was too. That's nice. That's
yeah,
really nice. Yeah,
that's a neat deal.
yeah. It was good. It was good. So that kind of deal. You don't get a lot of opportunities to visit with those old collectors like that that've been around, seen it all. They drop names that are just icons in the collecting field that they were all buddies with, and so it's good. And they tell you stories, and you learn a little bit of something about your guns too. They can tell you stuff about your guns that you never knew. So it was good. It was good. It was a good trip, and hopefully I'll be going back to see him again. We kind of set the stage for that too. Looking forward to it.
Well,
So
good
good.
deal.
Yeah. Just get on the road and make you a few miles. Drink
Yeah,
drink drink a lot of Love's coffee, and that's it.
yeah. You said it was what, 12 hours?
Right? Yeah, 12 and a half, 13 hours. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good day of driving. It's
But when the road's clear and the traffic's not too bad and the weather's good and you got a good buddy you're riding with, you can put down a lot of miles.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Well, me and the missus and the the urchin, we went down to Texas, and when we travel, we like to stop at antique shops and in pawn shops, and you'll see a thrift deal on the side of the road. And we stopped into one antique store that my wife's really been wanting to go to for a couple of years now, and I was kind of perusing around and I saw something that caught my eye, and I picked up a Remington
I
portable
love it.
typewriter. Yeah, actually, as a matter of fact, I picked up two of them. I got another one sitting over there on the chair.
One for each hand. Huh?
Yeah, so this was the Remington Portable, was one of their first portable typewriters. Um, and the neat thing about this one is it does have, there was a note inside. It talks about when this family purchased it. Now, underneath this, it has the original sales ticket.
Oh,
It says who bought it and what month. The year is kind of scratched out on it, but it tells you what city and all that, and then who bought it from them later. So there's a little bit of provenance with this typewriter. Uh, and I don't know much of anything about these, but kind of like you said the other day when we were talking in the collecting podcast, sometimes you just have to buy one, and that's how you learn about it. You get your hands on it and look
yeah,
at it, and
yeah.
touch
That's
it.
how you're going to learn. Buy one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get get to reading
You
about
know,
it.
I don't know how it is for other people, but for me, I can read till cows come home. But if I can read and have that item in my hand, it all comes together pretty good, like that.
It does. It makes a lot of difference being able to, read about certain part of it and go look at it and study it and come back and read other stuff. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited to kind of dig into the Remington typewriter world. Something I never thought I would get interested in, but um, I think it's neat just looking at it. And you think about how long ago it was made, and the uh, the the processes they would have had to gone through back then versus what they could probably whip one of these out lickety split today. um, but it was all the manufacturing processes were much more arduous back then.
Yeah, yeah. Does it work? Have you tried it?
It does.
Oh, that's
It
great.
does, yeah.
That's great.
Ribbon's good on it, and they both need oiled up a little bit.
Ah,
um, but yeah, they couple stuck keys, but they loosened right up. So yeah, pretty neat deal. I did get on. There's some pretty good. Let me pull this page up for anybody that's interested in uh, taking a look. Let me get to it here. Yeah, this one. So this is from Xavier University. Um, there is just a ton of information here over all the different models. Um, It tells you how to break down the serial numbers. There's a couple links to some other sites like the typewriter database. You can actually figure out, exactly what month and year it was made. This one has a NV6560, so that tells me that it's model number one, made in July. And then the first six tells you the second, the last number of the year. So that would make this one either a 16 or a 26. And digging a little bit deeper, I was able to suss out that it's a 1926. So that's if anybody's interested in kind of reading about some of those old typewriters, they can go there, as well as the typewriter database, which breaks it down even further. So, yeah, that was kind of a neat little find. Um, wasn't something I was necessarily looking for. Of course, knew Remington typewriters existed, and yeah, to my delight, I saw two of them sitting right next to each other, and they were affordable, which is another thing that you were talking about in collecting it, you know, in order to collect something, it needs to be affordable.
It does. I said it the other day, and it's my opinion, but it needs to be affordable. It needs to be obtainable. There have to be some of them out there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it has to be affordable, and you have to like it. And obviously, you liked that, so I think you hit the three keys right there.
yeah.
That's it.
Well, and it'll be nice to talk to some of the guys at Remington Society of America too, and
Yeah.
you know, learn what they know about them.
Well,
Um,
we we do have some authorities on that that can speak at length. Yeah.
for
There you
sure.
go. There you go.
Yeah, and if anybody's interested in joining the Remington Society of America, you can go online and join there at remingtonsociety.org. Guys, this is a great organization. Some of the top minds in Remington, everything, whether it be knives or typewriters or guns. There are people that are into all of it, and they are authorities on their particular fields. Membership is just $50 for the first year and $45 each year thereafter. You get 4 quarterly journals every year. Guys, these are nice journals. Wonderful pictures. The articles are better than anything you'll find in any other magazine. This isn't your newsstand type magazine. It is a quality journal and something that you'll want to keep for a long time. George is the membership director at Remington Society of America, so you can reach out to him
Sure can.
and he'll help you get set up. So the other thing I've been kind of working on here recently is my eyes just aren't what they used to be, and I can still get out with some iron sights and hit the target. The problem is that I can't see exactly where I hit the target. So I've kind of been on a quest to scope up some of these old rifles I've got, and but I don't want to spend a fortune. And what I've found is there are some bargains out there. I found these old Tasco scopes. Grab one. Like what I have on this 1022. Now, Tasco has kind of gotten a soiled name over the years because of the scopes that they have made of late that have come out of China. The quality of those is not nearly as good as the ones that came out of Japan. And you can spot them real quick because they have this gold or yellow sticker on there, and it'll say inspected in Japan. And I'll tell you what, George, this scope right here is every bit as good as what I've got right here. And this is a Leupold Vari X2. If you went on eBay to buy one of these today, you're going to spend at least $150. To get a nice clean one, you're probably going to spend 300. However, you can find a Japanese Tasco for about $40. You'll see them in pawn shops all the time. Most people don't know the difference between the Chinese Tascos and the Japanese Tascos, so they're usually the same price. Now, if you go on eBay, there are people that know that the Japanese glass is better, and they'll charge for it. But at flea markets and like I say, at pawn shops, you can pick those things up for a song and save a lot of money.
That's pretty cool. Well, talking about scopes, this is a good place to bring us in. One of the things my partner and I do, we do we do air gun repair. We repair old Benjamin, Sheridan, Crossman air guns, and the newer ones too. Been doing that a long time, and it's pretty good. So yeah, if any of you folks out there need got your grandpa's or your dad's old air rifle and want it fixed, let me know. We can hook you up. We can get you going. But scopes, scope on an old pump up like an old Benjamin or an old Sheridan. Uh, it doesn't matter what scope you put on it. You put anything will work. You can get it mounted from the little bitty 1 inch scopes up to whatever you can find. But on a brake barrel air gun, a spring piston brake barrel air gun, you have to be very careful what you put on that gun. The gun actually has two recoils. It's got a forward and a reverse recoil. When you fire it, it recoils. When the piston reaches in, it recoils in the other direction. And most scopes, some high dollar scopes, the lenses aren't braced for that recoil in two directions. And you could put a good Leopold burst, whatever you want, on some of those guns and shoot it 20 or 30 times and wreck the scope. So if you're going to put a scope on an air rifle, you need to put an air rifle scope on it. Most 22 rifle scopes are also air gun scopes. If you look on the box, that's probably what it's going to say. Uh, I think it's Tasco or Simmons had a 22 Magnum scope, they called them. Sold them at Walmart for about $30.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty doggone good scope. Great air gun scope, and the parallax was set at 50 yards. Is what you need on a 22 rifle or on an air rifle. So if you're doing that, if you're scoping one of those brake barrel guns, spring piston air guns, make sure you put the right scope on it, or you're just wasting your money. On the new PCP guns, the pre-charged guns, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
So
I didn't know that until you had mentioned it earlier. I'd never even thought about that. So
yeah,
that's a good thing to know, because if you got a nice brake barrel uh, gun, you want to put a nice scope on there. You sure don't want to ruin it right off the hop.
no, but just go to Walmart and get your 22.
Yeah,
22. You'll probably be all right.
well, that's good. I know there's a lot of guys out there that watch this channel that shoot air rifle as well. And speaking of which, we're gonna have I'm talking to Nibs over at Walnut and Steel. We're gonna try to get him on this week. He shoots a ton of air rifle. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to check out his channel, George, but
Yeah.
he shoots a bunch of air rifle and a bunch of 22s. It's hard for me to find a 22 that he hasn't shot on YouTube
Yeah.
yet. Every once in a while, I'll find one, and he'll say, I haven't shot that one." But yeah, so let's see what else. Uh, I've mounted up that Tasco on that Ruger 1022, and I went with the DNZ Game Reaper, which I bought one of these way back when they first came out, and boy, I sure like this mount. It's just a one piece. It's a nice clean mount. I like the way it looks. So if anybody's looking to mount up a scope on a 1022, that's one that I would surely recommend. Um, Also picked up some new ammo. There was I hadn't shot this before. It's a CCI clean, and it's a polymer tip bullet. And the guy at the shop where I bought it said it really does run cleaner than all the other ammo. I shot some in a video today. Took some CCI standard, Gecko, Ely, um, what was this, Nosler, and they all shot just pretty close to each other. Um, so yeah, that's, I guess, the only other thing that of interest here lately was, I think I mentioned this to you a little while back, was this
Mhm.
Lakefield. And I had never heard of Lakefield. When I went into the shop, what I saw was this right here.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that looks like a Marlin. And that's what I thought it was. But he handed it to me, and it's got this maple leaf right here. So it's a Canadian made 22 single shot. It's a Lakefield Mk1. So that's where it starts to get interesting. In 1995, Savage bought Lakefield, and they adopted the Mark One and Mark Two. Now everybody knows about the Mark One and Mark Two. That's a pretty well known Savage firearm. They've kind of hung their hat on that. Um, but I had no idea that it was actually somebody else's firearm. The only thing they really did was put in their AccuTrigger and slap the Savage name on it. There are some Lakefield Savage mark guns out, or Lakefield Savage marked barrels out there, and there's also some Lakefield Marlin guns out there. I guess Lakefield was kind of having some difficulties there towards the end, so they were reaching, trying to do something with some of these other manufacturers, but ended up selling out to Savage.
Well, that would be a neat little collection. That would be a neat group of guns to have.
It would be, yeah. I think they also had a Mark III, which was the semi-automatic version of it. Not a ton of information online about Lakefield. Um, just you know how the internet is today. Stuff gets buried real quick. So you got to get deep into the pages before you can find those old news articles and stuff like that that talk about what was going on. But yeah, it's been interesting. I've heard back from some viewers about their experiences with them, and it's supposed to be pretty good guns, good barrels, good shooters. The only thing I would say about this Mark One that I have is that the trigger's pretty heavy, but it's fixable.
Yeah.
So, well, I think that's about all I've got tonight,
That's,
George. Is there
that's
anything
it.
else you
That's it.
want to?
I always enjoy this. Appreciate what you're doing. Uh, appreciate the plug for the Remington Society, of course. That's
Oh, absolutely. And we'll be doing another RSA podcast here real soon. I think Mike's got a, let's see, a Remington 411, I believe it is,
yeah, he does.
which is kind of a rare bird. So he's gonna bring that on and talk about it and let's take a gander at it. So looking forward to seeing that. And I don't know, what do you got? What do you got in your craw for the next RSA podcast?
Oh, we might drag up some kind of rare Remington single action and talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit. Show folks, maybe get to see something you haven't seen before.
Now there was a question from let me see if I can find that again. I think did I send that to you, George?
You sent me a couple of them, and I'm doing some research for one fella, and talking to the other one. So good questions. They had a couple of pretty rare guns, some single digit serial number guns, and
Yeah, yeah, like an 8 or something
yeah.
like that.
Well, I'm a serial number freak. I like consecutive numbers, and I like low numbers, and things like that. So he was right in my wheelhouse with that. So trying to help him out, see if we can figure out what he has and when it could have been made, and maybe dispel some misconceptions about serial numbers too. There's a lot of bad stuff out there.
Yeah, and that was a question that came up in the Remington Society of America Facebook group. There is a public group on Facebook that you guys can go join, There's neat photos and conversations on there, and just like that gentleman, he had a question about a pretty rare firearm. Your firearm doesn't have to be rare to ask a question. There's a lot of guys from RSA on the public group, and so if you have a question, put it on there, or if you just want to share something that you're proud of, absolutely post on the public group on Facebook. We'd love to have you guys there.
Yeah, sure enough. Sure enough.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's a couple of cool guns. Hopefully we're gonna help these guys out and give them a little information.
Yeah,
We
that'll
might
be
not
neat.
be able to give them all they want, but we'll give them something.
Well, they got to join. You
That's
got
right.
to join to
Come on
get
board.
the cream. All right, man. Hey, thank you so much for joining me tonight. It was great to visit with you as always, and let's do it again.
Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate being here. Appreciate what you're doing. Uh, you guys, if you got an interest in Remington, come on and join us. We're like an orphanage. We always have room for one more. So come on aboard, please.
That's right. RemingtonSociety.org.
Yep.
Thank you, George. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening, man.
Thank you.